Hello, everybody, and welcome to this current update stream. It is yours truly, KFan701. Apparently, the mark of summer apparently has arrived a bit more earlier. It has been arguably one of the most hottest days in this month of May already. Now, as you can tell, since the month of May has been with us now for at least 8 days, it has been quite a very quiet celebratory time. We recently had May the 4th a few days ago, which was basically Star Wars Day. And of course, we have the upcoming 78th anniversary of Thomas and Friends, or was it the 77th anniversary of the Railway series? I could be a bit lost with that, so I think you guys might need to help me there a bit because, I haven't been live and honest very often. Now, I'm going to let you guys know that apparently things are doing really, really well. And I gotta let you know is that again, there's a big, big, big change going on in my current lifestyle outside of the social media internet. And I have to let you know is that I am upgrading my home and I am going to be upgrading hopefully my lifestyle if I can actually do that. I've already had a brand new head shaved haircut for the occasion because, the summer seasonary, after the aftermath of going to Liverpool and going to the Love of Wrestling event, and it's just been, a fantastic aftermath despite the drama that's been recently unfolding regarding certain friends of mine who have had their own issues while I've been enjoying my time away. And I'm happy to tell you guys that there's all these changes I keep saying, which I'm not going to reveal too much because again, I'm trying to move forward and trying to sort of reinvent my lifestyle and to try and do new things. But apparently I need to be with my family more often because I'm getting more older and of course I'm not getting any younger. Well, again, I would like to continue on being here with you guys with my actual fan base, whatever's left of it. And regardless of all the hard times I've had, regardless up and down with all the stuff that went on with several ex-friends of mine who I've broken away with completely and wish to never go back to, you know, even though some in the Thomas community are unsure, don't know what to do, but as tough as it is, you've got to swallow hard and continue to move on and try and make newer buddies as you go along with life because, you know, what's the point in ever going back to something that you will get mistrusted for, basically just, you know, I think it's best to safe and say that the fun days of those days that I was in have long since been buried 6 feet under, and I do miss those days. I do miss a lot of the old stuff that I used to be with when it was a fandom when we were all together before the dark times had swallowed it whole and unrepairable during 2020 as well, and continuing as we progress today, even from last year. Now I have to let you guys know that yeah, it does bugger me sometimes, and it does really at times upset me, and I will admit I mourn because it is a bit sad and everything, but you gotta take it really hard and bite the bullet and just continue to progress onwards and try and start a new chapter in life. And that's what I'm doing every step of the way. And with your support and your understanding of how I'm going about certain things, you know, I really can't thank you guys more than enough. I mean, you're like family, to be honest. It's like I say about Sabaton. You're like a brotherhood to me, lads. You mean the world to me. Um, I'm not sure what will happen afterwards. I can't predict the future. But I will have to say, though, I will take the changing, and it's going to be a lot of upgrading going on. Like I said, this may not be the last stream I'll do, but mark my words, I will hopefully upgrade, maybe, and see what we can find and try and get back into filming if I can get a new laptop and whatnot, because the one I've got right now is basically old and doesn't seem to always function properly at times and overheats quickly when using Trains 12. Despite the fact I have a lot of things on my mind that have put me in a very tough spot to where I'd like to upgrade, but at the same time, you know, there's just so many things I don't want to lose. But at the same time, I have to progress and see what I can find to get myself back in the saddle and hopefully one day see what will happen because I'm still job hunting. I'm not giving that up. I just really want to get out there in the outside world, because I lost that when I was in my 20s when, I struggled so hard, but basically gave up a lot because, of how much anti-social dislike and hatred towards people with Asperger's like myself is just one of those things, because when you mention that, people just don't want to bother with you and they just look at you as an alienated thing of humanity, as if we're not normal, as if we're freaks of nature, and I've had that slammed in my face a few times in humiliation, but I don't let that get to me anymore. But regardless, I'm not going to give up. I mean, I still have a family to look after, which is my top priority. Even though I try and do things for myself too, but you gotta try and balance that. It's never easy, but again, I love going here with you guys, and I do try and do things to keep myself active and doing what I always love to do best. Writing my fanfics, and of course, coming on here when I have the time. But like I said, 2022 is going to be a very different year. And again, once I have my room refurbished, like I'll give you an example here, lads. If any of you guys want to come in, I'll let you guys know. I'll leave you guys a little link, and I'll just let any of you want to pop in if you have enough time to, because this won't be too much of a long stream as it is. But okay, the link's there for you guys if you want to join in. Now, just let you guys know, as you can see, I've had a nice little haircut occasion. I've just come out and give it a nice blow dry and everything. But yeah, I've had a clean shave too. As you can see, all this around me, like this entirety of my room is going to be completely refurbished, and it will be unrecognizable for you guys when it's done. We don't know how long it will be, but trust me, it's going to be very unique. Although I've forced myself to go along with this, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I won't be on for a long time, regardless of how long it takes. Okay, guys. So it's going to be like a goodbye to the old and in with the new. Yeah. As much as I'm not used to changing, I've had to force myself to do this. Hey, Wild.
Yes, hello.
Nice to see you, pal.
Yes, hello. Nice to see you too. What have you been up to recently?
Well, you may have missed the introduction, mate. I've been hanging around with my family more often. I'm upgrading my lifestyle because everything around me, as you can see, is going to be completely refurbished, and I may not be on as much anymore. Like I said, I'm not leaving or anything. It's just the fact is that this year is throwing a lot of things that I need to deal with. Trying to further change more, and continue to be active outside the internet as often. I love coming on with you guys a lot. Although, despite the fact I haven't been active as much because of other reasons going down. But I'm just glad to know that everything's going well. I've been getting some more extra models just in case, and I managed to find some good stuff like the Thomas Cut content as well, which I found. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on, and who knows what will happen in the future.
Yeah.
I know you guys are wondering where have I been. It's just like I said, I'm trying to focus my life more with the family and upgrade with my lifestyle and come here when I can be, because there's a lot of other things going on that I'm trying to reform with and see things to be a little bit better. And I have to say, I also want to let you guys know, and I'm not trying to point, I'm not going to try and point this towards Victor Tanzig, but I'm going to briefly let this be known that despite I still love his content and his creativity, which is always refreshing, and I still love his work and his content. But lately, I think it's safe to say, I think we can all agree that
he's gone through a very big change because he started including swearing in almost every video.
Swearing maturity, that's a-okay. I'm thinking he's going about I think he's had a change in terms of political words, and this is something we don't really want to talk about. But I need to get this out of my system, and we'll leave it at that. And I think
Oh
what I'm going
wait.
to
Oh, you mean on that one video he uploaded a little bit ago with the insert the army owned by Hitler here?
yeah, basically he did the thing where it was called dictatorshiping or whatever it was, and then he did another one afterwards. And then at the end, Diesel, aka Bruce, gets what he wants, vote for anarchy, which was a bit funny. I was like, I could foresee it was going to be Diesel's plot all along. It was basically like a Star Wars type rip there, which was hilarious. But overall, creativity wise, on paper it looked good. But listen, Victor, mark my words, pal. I can understand and respect what you're doing, but I think you might want to take a step back and look back
Like,
on what you just
don't
did there.
use the Nazi
want to-
symbol on your thumbnails.
I'm just saying, yeah, I don't think the community, even your own fan base, I know some of your mates might like what you're saying, but at the same time, I think you're going across a certain big line or thin line here that you may not come back from. And I'm not saying this because I don't like what you've done. I'm saying it because as a friend, well, not just as a friend, but also as a big fan of yours, you might need to reconsider and you might want to keep your videos on like that, but just remove them off your channel. I'm just saying that because you might get other people out there who might storm it and, shit could hit the fan with you. And we don't want that to happen. I mean, you did apologize that one time when you accidentally offended wherever it was, and you
He's
very
done that
humbly.
so many freaking times now.
Yeah, but that's when he really meant it. I think he needs to reconsider, because if I was in his boots, say if I was in Victor Tanzik's situation, I wouldn't. But I
Yeah.
would have stopped that. I would have kept it and kept that in my separate file, but I wouldn't upload it. Like, that's in your own private spare time. Don't really, But oh my lord, what do you think of the reason why I never did that in my Thomas fanfic series or anything like that? Because politicking in Thomas is a big no-no. It would cause terrible stuff. I mean, the whole thing
Mhm.
regarding COVID and the vaccination stuff is kind of all right, because I've written that a few times in my fanfic, blaming reality in, which is kind of nice. But at the same time, keep away from political stuff. And that's something I'm a big neutral guy on. Yes, I'll admit to that. But at the same time, putting that aside now, the community itself is kind of getting reshuffled, we could say, and it does look pretty good. I'm liking what I'm seeing. And oh, hang on a second. Hello. Yeah.
Wind. Freaking frack. Okay. So, Mr. Cardboard Cutout, how's your day been? Understandable. Freaking, what is wrong with me?
Okay, lads. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. I just had an interrupted phone call there for a second. I do apologize.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
by the way, Glenn, last night I was watching a video from Shine, right? It was
you mean
the
you mean
one.
Mr. Ortiz?
It was the yes, Shine
Yeah.
Ortiz. And I was watching the Christmas special she did that was based on
Look,
A
look,
Christmas
look, look,
Carol.
look, look. Look. look, dude, that was way past tense when we had the first Fallout, man. And
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're already aware of that
I
video.
would explain that before in the past. We don't want to go there. That was way
I
past tense.
wasn't gonna ask anything about it. I was just gonna bring up that I saw something. I kind of wish I didn't.
Yeah, I know. That was a bit disrespectful, as has been replied. That was I was, at the time, that was really terrible. Now, it was a mistake that, I'm going to admit, I know I'm saying this live, but screw the heck out of it anyway. That was one time Mr. Ortez was very regretful and apologized for me, and I was, again, forgiving for that. But that was just not right. I mean, to this day, if I'd done the same in response, I would have regretted that almost instantly. I mean, he could have. I do say still, he could have had that with somebody else, but not mine. No, I would never have done that to anybody else's OC. I mean, if that was your own ex-buddy friend you did that to, that would be terrible. I know. So you did look down a bit, yeah, I know. I mean, most of the content that I did.
I wasn't looking down to figure out anything about you. I was just trying to enjoy a video. But then one of your older designs of your C just randomly popped up on screen. I'm like, oh my freaking god.
Yeah, when I was in the scrapyard. Yeah, I know. Dead, you could say. I know.
Yeah.
And all those guys that you heard in there were once good friends, like a family. I'm not lying to you. I know, it's too painful. That's why I can't watch it anymore. It's just why it looks good and everything else. It's just too painful, man. Way too painful. And all the good stuff that we done, the original Haunted Titanic, which I did all the audio from, which was all done on me. Music video I helped, which I was proud of helping with. That's gone too. I know. It's almost like I'm a forgotten bloke who's nothing more than a bad guy to look down upon. Where there were other guys far worse than me. Look, I'm not trying to get into negativity there, Wild, and I know for a fact, that was one of the first worst things that ever happened, man. I don't know what it is with you, Tank Engine 52. What is up, man?
I mean, I think he's backstage and he's confused and like how to be added, I think.
Don't worry, that's me. I'm the one who has to be the adding doing there. But in any late cases, I've had some new good stuff with my Thomas stuff. Got some more content downloaded, which was kind of eager to test out and see what it'd be like. But like I said, with this laptop I'm using, it may not be long enough until whatnot. So I know, but then again, I don't know what to do next. So it was nice while it lasted, I guess. But at the same time, who knows? I might move on from this, or might reinstall Trains again. Maybe I'll. Who knows what I'll do? Maybe I could upgrade when I get a new laptop or something like that, which I'm hoping to do, and maybe just use it for the train thing only and whatnot, and nothing else. But I don't know what to do at this point. All I know is I'm going to try and upgrade and progress onwards. And maybe start all over again. I don't know. I'm still lost in life, but I'm not going to give up. Like, I know some people might be doubting me and like to piss on that. Certain users who just, I must say I'm not still being a low life, but like I said, there's just so much stuff on my mind. Like, I've got to get this all refurbished. I'm progressing on more to do other things in life, because it's more than just being on here. So that's why I'm not as being active as you might think, while everybody else might be thinking, where have I been? How are things on your end anyway?
Good. There may be a chance I get a computer that can actually run Trains a New Era, so that'll be fun.
I'm not sure which one to go for, if I should go for 19 or New Era, or should I just go for 10s? I don't know.
19, in my opinion, at least, is the better version between 10 and 19. But I mean, there is also 22. I don't know if that's fully released yet.
Oh, nice. I'm not sure about 22. Oh, nice. I see you did something cool on me on there, mate. That's nice. NWS Silver and me with 2 tenders, eh?
Mm.
Oh, bless you, man. And who's Silver underneath me?
What? Wait. Oh, so you checked out the 2 characters
Yeah. What's all that about, mate?
Okay, so I was bored, right?
Yeah.
So I thought it would be funny to make. Hold on, let me find the image. This guy into a Thomas character. If you don't know who this is Silver the Hedgehog, aka Sonic character. Yeah. Then I had the idea to make the character that's basically how do I word this? It's like his partner essentially, Blaze here. So yeah, I was bored out of my mind, and eventually they started to become characters in my series in under a freaking night. Yeah, I made face packs for them. I'm gonna have reskins of them done today. Yeah.
As you can also just let you know, Ward, as well, if you remember about the whole thing with James 55, as much as I hate talking about him, I cut him off for good. He's no longer in my life now.
Wait. God, what the frick happened?
You know, I wasn't risking to have him anymore, and afterward he sent you too many, requests, OC mad, and blah blah blah, and yeah.
Well, I mean, I wasn't saying that was a bad thing for him to do. It was just like, he wanted me to do over 30 reskins. That's a bit
but that is not normal. That isn't normal. Anyways, guys.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to realize how time-consuming these things can fricking be.
But like I said, after everything else regarding, I was just done with him. I just couldn't risk it. Some of my mates were getting a bit bored with him as well, and they had enough. Okay. Also, I see the engine there with 2 tenders above Silver engine. Is that supposed to be me with 2 tenders?
No, that's Blaze.
Oh, I see. It's just that Blaze has a very similar style to me a little bit there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. I thought that's how you envisioned me in your canon as my OC.
Well, I mean, if you look on Blaze's face, you would see that she has eyelashes.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I'm just saying that it just look a little bit like a new custom Marduverse version of myself almost in the way how you would see me as.
Here, let me send you what their happy faces look like.
Hey there, Slinko. Nice to see you, mate. What's up?
Nothing much.
Yeah, sorry about the whole we mentioned when I mentioned about the old thing that had me in the scrapper with my face missing and everything. Yeah, that was just yeah. We tend to avoid the negativity about that, yeah. But the good thing is though, like I said, we're doing pretty good. I've seen some really good stuff. Well, to let you know, I've actually been tracing some of the old routes of my childhood. Like, I remember some of the cool adverts I used to watch growing up, which like were among the first ones.
Yeah.
And I was getting commercial flashbacks almost instantly, as if I remembered it when I was little. It was quite hilarious and extremely funny. I don't know why. It just was. Like everybody else says the exact same thing in the comments. Back when commercials were watchable and laughable.
Yeah. Now they're just annoying.
They're overused. I think they started to become that way since 2007. I think it was, judging by my memory. Oh, I see. Oh. So Blaze has got a change Not too bad.
What are you saying?
Huh?
Not too bad.
Yeah. Yep.
I was showing Glenn some crap I made in DMs.
A lot for work, and this was just easier.
Jeez, Tank Engine 52 is definitely, yeah. I can tell you're a big fan of mine, pal. Yes, everybody's been watching the same thing, yeah. The Timothy and Ghost Train, Clunspill and whatnot. Yeah, by the way, Slim Kill, I sent you that cool route you can actually have a look on. I bet you'll have some fun with that when you run your OC on it.
Okay.
trust me, it's one of the best original old retro routes on the Thomas fandom I remember watching. Guess
Yeah.
what? If you see that too as well, it's really good.
I downloaded it and set up the sort of my own take on Tales from the Other Railway.
Ah, yes, I remember that series, Tales of the Other Railway.
Yeah.
Basically on Britain's railroad. I mean,
Pretty
railway
much.
side. Yeah, I would have.
Alright, I'm gonna go continue writing crap for my series. Hope you all have fun. Goodbye.
Take care
Alright,
while. Cheers, pal. Yeah, Slim Killer, it's really, really good. I changed it. Just disappointed that that route can't work for trains, and I was hoping it would because it looked very nostalgic, but it doesn't because of the train build it was in. If it had been that way, I would have been perfect to have used that from my headcanon for my early days of Sodor in the early years before the upgrade of it is now.
Oh yeah, did I tell you the other day I downloaded Nigel from MOAB?
Hey, where did that? What side's that? I thought Nigel was a private engine.
No, somebody made a version in trains.
Oh, send me the link and I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Send me the link and I'll check
It
it out.
has faced and faceless versions.
Okay, like I said, send me the link and I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Like I said, Slim Killer, if you haven't seen it as well, like I said, this entire place is to get refurbished. So,
Yeah.
and of course, I might get a new laptop too. So, again, this one I might be using may never be around ever again, which means I might lose all my content and everything else. I don't have a hard drive. They don't make them like they do now for these ones.
Yeah.
For Windows 7 since they've retired them now. But I will try and find a place. Maybe I'll rebound with, I don't know, maybe with trains or regarding what it is. Because, you know, I'm going to force myself to upgrade. You know, and then I might go with the routes that these guys have got. I don't know, but it's, like I said, it's not easy for me to make the transfer.
Yeah.
It's just been one of the hottest days as well. It's been 17 degrees. Yesterday was 18 degrees, and then yeah, I've been baked, man. Boiling hot as hell. So anyway, Slim Killer, anything you want to put down your end on?
There's something. How did I tell you I got a job?
Oh, congrats, mate! So you finally did it.
Yep.
Well, at least you were lucky, pal. What job did you land yourself in?
I am the assistant activities director at a assisted living community.
And that is at. Oh, you gonna miss working at your train stuff now?
No, I'm going to be working at the old folks' home.
Oh.
Yeah. Really interesting people there.
That'll be nice. Hopefully it all works out. Hopefully you'll earn some good wages for that. If it does.
Yeah. I've also been saving up to go to a nudist camp.
I gotta throw that out there, Brian.
Yeah, I heard that. There's a laugh in the background.
Yeah, we're in the.
I take it. We've got company watching this. That's good.
Yeah.
It's good, lads. Anyways.
Yeah, I got died.
Yeah. Anyways, I managed to get some good stuff at the Love of Wrestling. I got my new Ultimate Undertaker edition from WrestleMania 14. He beat Kane, going 7-0. And I even got, as you know, I actually completed my Hulk Hogan collection. I finally got an NWO figure of Hogan for the first time since 2002.
Oh, good
and
for you.
It looks really good. Like, his movements were superb. So I finally got, like, WWF face Hulk Hogan and then heel turn NWO Hogan and his last run as Hollywood Hulk Hogan in the red and yellow. So I finally got the 3 faces of Hogan, which was superb. And Hogan's making another comeback on the edition. He's going to be in his WrestleMania 1 appearance. And yeah, he's going to come back in his 99 Wolfpack NWO black and white version too. So yeah, he's making a comeback, brother. It's going to be more versions of AJ. An upcoming younger
match ever that I will never happen, but amazing to see.
What would that be?
And that is a tag team match of Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy Savage against The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh god, the Mega Powers versus the Lord Dots and Texas Wrestling. I thought you were going to say Stone Cold and The Rock or The Undertaker and Kane. My dream matchup with mine would be...
those two, and don't do a Royal Rumble with them.
Oh. Or we could have done the whole thing like my ultimate dream match would have been Ultimate Warrior and Sting, WCW Pro Sting or Beast Sting, whichever you want, against the Undertaker.
Not Sting or when he was going or his goth phase.
That's what I mean. It doesn't really matter which version of Sting as long as it's with Warrior. Taking on Undertaker and Kane. The Ultimate Stingers, as I like to call them, not the Blade Runners. I would have called them the Ultimate Stingers. Yeah. The One Warrior Nation and the Stingers together against the Undertaker and Kane. Which would be quite good. That's my tag team dream match. But anyways, like I said, just so many good stuff I got. You know, you got plenty of newer upgrades, and I managed to get some photographs. I managed to get Lillian Garcia. I managed to get good old JR. God bless the Lord, man. I managed to get him. Get JBL, aka Bradshaw, wonderful big tall bloke. I got to see Road Dogg and Billy Gunn and the Outlaws together. It was just a fantastic day at that event. It was just one of the best things I've ever happened to. If you had been there, Slim Killer, you would have absolutely loved the event. It's like the past, present, and future. It comes together it's like a culture place. You know, it's like a safe haven that wrestling fans that just come together and just enjoy the weekend. And you would have, if you'd been there, but you would have loved it. It was like heaven on earth, man. It's the last great place. It's like the last greatest place to be in a wrestling event. You know what I mean?
It isn't about competing with them. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's big in the ring.
Yeah, they had a few rings in there as well, which you could get into, and you can cosplay as your favorite, or get retro stuff or present stuff, play video games. You know, it was just fantastic.
Wrestle in the ring, actually, though.
Yeah, you would be in the ring. They even did photo shoots in a other ring that they did. Like they said, they raised the bar this year. They did compared to when they had Undertaker a few years ago. Like I said, Love of Wrestling 2 was superb. It was beautiful. One of the best I've ever been to. Yeah. And I won't regret. I know even Sting was there that day as well, and I couldn't get a shot of him, but he managed to walk past me and he pointed me out as the Undertaker gave me a good thumbs up.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Sting was there for Saturday only. It was just a fantastic event. And besides all that, though, like I said, the Tom's community has slowly increased ultimately, despite there are a few troublemakers in there that tend to try and ruin it. But the creativity content that we're seeing has really made a good comeback. Yeah. So I like this, and I think we have potential of a new chapter in it. Like I said, I did see some positive stuff going in. There's been less and less, bigger stuff. It does seem like we've recovered and we're on the return rise. We see the fandom start anew, refresh itself, which is what we were hoping for, and I think we're getting there somehow. We've just started it. And not to mention, we do have the upcoming anniversary this month to come in. 77 years. I mean, last year was a quiet celebration, but let's see what 77 years of Reverend W. Audrey and Thomas and Friends give us this year. And I'm hoping.
Can you get me one?
And I'm hoping I'm hoping it will be a success. You know,
All right,
it would.
Kane, I will be back.
Well, hopefully you do, mate, because the thing won't be outlining that long. It's just a little updating I'm giving you.
Okay. Oh, see you later.
Take care, Slim Killer. I'll catch you later on. Yes, Robert Steele, I see you right down below me. Again, there's a lot of things going about. I'm not actually sure what will happen. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what the future could hold for a lot of good things. So, besides all that, guys, there's going to be a lot of good stuff. Hey, Robert, please stop saying that, man. What you said on Twitter, I did not appreciate that at all. Again, it's not unlike you found him, mate. I didn't like that. Hey, Astro, nice to see you.
Good to see you too, bud. How are you?
Coping well. I'm just giving a little upgrade of what's to come, and this could be one of the last streams I'll do because this whole thing behind me is getting refurbished. I won't be on here for a long while, and I don't think I might be using this thing again afterwards because, yeah, this thing is definitely overheating fast. It makes a buzzy sound, which makes me think the battery's going to blow. So I have to be very wary on how long I'm going to be on here. So, yeah.
I see.
I've had it since 2017, this thing. Hey there, Lasher. Nice to see you. In any cases, though, I do think, I might make some more upgrades. Like, I could find a new one to find and then just see where it happens afterwards because, like I said before many of the times, I'm upgrading. I'm going to have to go with the changes I'm having now to be with my family more often. I'm still job hunting. And regardless of everything in the past, I'm, want to tell you that I'm not going to look back on, because there's just too many things going on. And I know I said I was rebounding in my voice acting, but again, I'm sort of kind of dabbling in and out, and I do feel like I did lose my direction somewhere, but
I see.
Okay, Tank Engine 52. I don't know why, but you're dominating this whole chat thing, mate. So, dude, just chill, man, chill. But anyways, there's a lot of good stuff happening, and let's find up now. Here we go.
I'm still planning on making a message video for Daniel Wells. I already had a friend that recorded his voice line for it because both my friend and I are huge fans of Daniel Wells. I mean, ever since when my friend named Jason Gomez, when he first told me about Daniel Wells, he's a big fan, and now I'm a big fan of Daniel Wells ever since when he told me about him.
Well, he's a big fan of mine as well. Daniel Wells was, his video with Thomas and the Titanic anniversary in 2016 is how we got together and met up. Well, not met physically, but that's how our friendship started. And I have actually noted him a few times. We could remake it into a better one. That was all one because he was doing all the voice dubbing. I know it was a bit mixture, but that was then.
Well, we all know that he's the best.
He was. I mean, then he was kind of but now I think he's got potential to be the best now. But when I first knew him, I was like, he's still got a long way to go. He's got good editing, but I felt like his microphone definitely needed upgrading, because there were times where it was a little irritating for my hearing.
I see. I was planning to introduce him the 3 models that are featured in one pack, known as the 103 series commuter train that was back from the 60s. I wanted to introduce him the Yamanote line commuter train from Japan.
Hey, Rory Lashup. Nice
What's up, guys?
Nothing much. Again, you may have missed it. This whole thing behind me is going to get a big re-upgrading. So I won't be here for very long as much now.
How long will that be?
We don't know. All I will tell you is though it's going to be step by step, inch by inch. This whole room of mine is going to be revamped.
Hmm.
I should have had done a long time ago, but I was just not ready for change.
What do you think of
you
What do you think
really-
of my avatar? What do you think?
Pretty
Looks very-
badass.
Looks very cool.
You probably wonder why I'm wearing this on my face. It's a scouter device.
I thought so, and it's Dragon Ball Z related. Just don't go with the over the top rope. Over 9,000 meme.
Yeah,
I
but it's a
know.
little different. It's a little different design compared to theirs. It's different because it's not the same design as the ones in Dragon Ball Z.
But it reminds me heavily a lot.
John Cena did a return. Bray Wyatt down wrestling.
Yeah, well, we all know that the scouters that all the characters in Dragon Ball Z are green, but mine is a bit colored blue.
Anyways, Railway Lash Up. I did see your recent uploads, and they were really good.
Thanks. These past few months have been like, how I put this.
Been busy with life.
No, not just that. Things got very personal between me and my friends this past few months. I'm not gonna get into any details, but let's just say one was Korean drama. Um, it forced it, it forced us to like choose sides when in reality it shouldn't be our choice to who to be friends and not to be friends with. Like you don't do that.
Like I've had that before in the past. Yeah, regarding the situation of me and everybody else. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's drama. That's basically people actually want to sign there with the actual friends and who they're kind of unsure of. I'm in that situation too, mate, but I'm making my decisions so that I can use that to propel me, stay positive, and stay with my actual friends. You guys are among those who I can trust.
Cheers.
Thanks, bud.
Like I said, I mean, you and me, Robert Lasher, we've had our talks about this before, and yeah, so I can relate to you, pal.
Exactly.
And knowing it's the month of May, oh god, the month that can down humanity forever. And I don't want to get into it ever, as much as I can help it. The only thing I'll say happily is that we celebrate May the 4th, which is Star Wars Day, and then you have
Exactly. Made of
Oh,
be with
you know that reminds me. I basically draw myself as a Jedi Knight.
and I'm basically a Jedi slash Sith Lord, which makes me a grey Jedi. Like Darth Revan, I have a purple lightsaber and a red lightsaber because that's basically how I am now to this very day. Basically, Slim Killer, that's a bit of a oof. I don't know about that dude, but I think that's a bit crossing the line there. But I won't say much about that. Okay, that's a topic for another time. But anyways, lads. Yeah. Again, Robbie Lash up. Like I said, the only thing we got to look forward to was Star Wars Day, which was the May the 4th, and then you had, just yesterday we celebrate the quiet celebration of the sinking of the Lusitania, which got the Americans into the war afterwards, not too long, and then you had, you know, and then you've got this month now, which is also the anniversary of 77 years of the Railway series that Reverend W. Audrey wrote of the Thomas stuff, which is what we look forward to. But
I used to believe it or not. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, last year was a very quiet celebration. 76 years, and 75 years was kind of fine, but that was where the fandom and the community in general was beginning its most downward spiral. But it held up pretty well. But let's see how this one turns out for 77 years, And I'm hoping it turns out pretty well. So fingers crossed for that.
Yep. Excuse me.
So you were saying, Robert Lashup?
Oh, believe it or not, I used to have that book ever since I was a kid. I enjoyed every freaking page on that book. Like I was just in love with. I'm sorry. I would enjoy that book. Let's just say.
It is very classic and rare.
I've still got it. I've still got the big book. It's worn and torn, but the pages are still intact. But yeah, but it does look lovely though.
Exactly.
I've got all the
Yeah.
books now from Reverend W. Audrey and his son as well. When he did 2 other new ones, which was a couple of years back, I think, which was quite nice. Meaning the Railway series could still go, but I thought, well, this was a rebound, like the beginning of a new Railway series of the modern times. Obviously not, but it was good to see that the Railway series is still recognised, and I think if anybody could continue on with the Railway series now, I think we could find people in this community, those who are artists who can do fine art, could help maybe bring Christopher Audrey's writing with Reverend W. Audrey in tribute back into the spotlight, despite what the modern day, day of Thomas is just. I don't know how should I put this. Doesn't seem to want to know the actual. I don't know.
Well, to be honest, when I was like young, ever since I first watched Thomas and Friends when I was a kid, then somehow I also watched my favorite Christmas movie known as The Polar Express.
Well, I haven't got much of a Christmas movie, but
I used to watch that movie.
Yeah, basically, but the movie was actually based on a 1985 storybook of the Polar Express.
Well, I wonder what inspired to make that book.
Oh, 1985 book. Huh. So that was an early modern novel. Nice. I will admit though, the Polar Express was okay, but I liked it because the train was there. End of story. You know what I'm like as a steam mark. But anyways, I'm not so sure how, but I still think there is potential for the Railway series to make a comeback if they ever did. If anybody's a really good, a very good
Hey!
artist.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Oh,
I'll explain later.
Right. Okay.
Wait, someone seems happy. What's up?
I just found out I just reached another milestone. I have now reached over 1 million total views on YouTube.
What?
Congrats, man.
Oh my gosh! Congratulations, dude.
And speaking of which, speaking of which, thanks for that, Royal Lashup. You just reminded me. Even I, just a few days ago, have just hit 16.5k subs.
Congratulations.
Okay, look at the chat. I feel like my best friend Jason Gomez is on the stream chat.
He is. Yes, he is. I see him. Hello, Jason.
Yeah, that's him. That's him right there. Right. He was asking if you have a Discord server or not.
Yeah, that is true. Yes, I do, but I like to keep that a bit low.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Jason, if you're watching this, he does, but could you explain to him?
It's kind of personal, basically.
It's too personal. He wouldn't understand.
Okay.
But the thing is, though, I'm glad to see that you guys like Disney, like Bambi as well. Same here. Not like it's a combination of Thomas and Friends where Bambi's in there included, which I think is brilliantly awesome. But I like the idea of it. Who knows what will happen? And I'll admit, I did a crossover one time with my ex-girlfriend, which I don't talk very often much about. But we did one once with Bambi, and we did one called the Disney Trio. And no, it's not Mickey Mouse, it's not Goofy and Donald Duck, not that trio. If you guys are familiar with the actual name itself, but we did one once where I basically put them together, and she gave them the name, and Bambi was one of them, and along with 2 other animals. One of them was actually called Simba. Yes, we used his cub formation, not his adult one. We used him when he was little. And then the other one was my decision, which is a little embarrassed to say it, but
Okay,
basically,
for what you were explaining, there's something I wanted to explain about how the Lion King movie was created.
I think we all know the
So,
story, Astro Boy. I think we all know where this is leading to. Yeah, I've already seen what you're saying, pal. So
oh yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah, you've already heard about when Disney took that idea from Tezuka
yes,
Productions.
it's an urban legend now. But if it hadn't been for that, we wouldn't have had the Lion King in the first place. Who knows? You just think about it in from no retrospect. I didn't see it as a rip off or whatever, but if it had been an inspiration for that, then props to Disney for doing it then. I mean, back then you probably would have been okay. In today's time, I don't know, but but then
What do you
again,
think about the live action movie of The Lion King?
look, I liked it for what it was
That's pretty
because
good in my
again,
opinion.
it was a nostalgia feel. The fans loved it, mainly with the music, and of course, the talent in there was really good. I think a lot of fans were geeking out because they wanted to see that actress who played adult Nala because of her actress. That who was what I was looking forward to seeing. It was a great time to be. Listen, 2019. Oh my god!
Oh,
Look,
you wouldn't
look,
believe what. Okay,
I'm marking out here.
me and my family went to the movie theaters. Guess what we watched?
What you guys watched?
Lion
Sonic
King was
the
there.
Hedgehog 2.
Oh, the new one.
Yup, we finally
I
watched it.
I don't know about it because it's too hard for me because I kind of lost my. I mean, I grew out of Sonic, but I still loved the original growing up, like the original series and whatnot. But I will give credits for what they've done and props to what they've done. Yeah, I don't know. A live action Sonic, I don't know. And a Dr. Robotnik played by Jim Carrey. It's good and all, don't get me wrong, but as I don't know, it's kind of hard for me to kind of dig it, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, a live action Sonic kind of felt a bit creepy for me, but it was good to see what they've tried to do to make him realistic. So that I give the creators a good thumbs up for.
Well, we always knew that Jim Carrey's the most funniest person of all times.
Yes, he is, man. He's basically to me the Riddler of the Batman. He's basically Ace Ventura, Pet Detective in reality, and of course he's the Mask in reality as well. But at the same time,
Don't forget about the Grinch.
look, I didn't dig the Grinch at all, and I don't. Look, I am not really a fan of Jim Carrey being a villain because I just like him being a happy comedy geek where you can just enjoy and be around, if you know what I'm saying. That sort of thing.
What
Seeing
about
him
the
as a villain,
Mask?
like what I mean, like the Mask and Ace Ventura and the Riddler in Batman Forever, perfect.
He's always the best.
He's the
Always.
best. Yeah, I mean, he's the comedian bloke. I mean, he's among many of the greats. But like I said, when I saw the Lion King film, it was basically shot by shot with a little few repeated lines, which I could tell, which was, but I could tell they were doing their best to do some things that they didn't see in the animation version, which again was good. They even did some things that maybe, Disney back in the 90s couldn't do. And to be perfectly honest, they did a good job on realism. But again, it felt like a National Geographic movie than a Disney movie. That's the thing I found a bit awesome about it. And of
Oh,
course, that's yeah.
Jason said, "Yeah, I understand that, Jason. I am still planning of making the message video for Daniel Wells, but
We will.
that
Don't
is
worry.
still have to wait."
Uh, again, when I saw the intro and the whole reenactment that they were doing, I'm not going to lie to you, I was quite impressed with the real life introduction that they did. And everybody in the audience, I'm not going to lie to you, when I went to see it, everyone was singing, the Circle of Life, the intro music, because, and I'm not lying, everybody around me, I was looking around, they were all smiling. All those who grew up with it, like myself, that was kind of special. Like the intro was like a lovely nostalgia feel. So I was like, yeah,
I don't know if you two already watched Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I don't know if you guys did.
I don't
No,
know,
not
but
really.
Okay, I don't want to spoil anything though.
it's okay, mate. Besides, I'm limited to what I can watch and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good and all, but I don't know. Like I said, I already gave my opinion. I just can't seem to dig it, perhaps because I kind of grew out of Sonic. Don't get me
Yeah, I mean,
wrong.
ever since when I was like I would have to say I was like 14 or 13. I don't know. I used to watch the cartoon series of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, that was what I grew up with. Yeah, the original. Yeah, that to me is Sonic as I know
That's
him.
how I
That,
became a big fan of Sonic and collect a lot of Sonic games.
hmm. Speaking of which, oh hey T Crash Productions. Uh,
Hello.
hey T Crash, he's another one of my big mate fans down there. Anyways, like I said, like I said, 2019 was a great time to be a Disney fan. It really opened up the doors in a new way for me. Like it kind of felt like live actions do have their place to tell reenact stories and they want to. I mean, Aladdin was all right, but I kind of lost track with it. I only watched it because I was a big fan of the villain Jafar himself, and I mean the guy who played him was actually quite impressive. They made him look younger compared to what he was in the movie, but yeah, I could only imagine what the actual voice actor himself would have been had he re-voiced him again. Who knows? But again, oh god, T Christ, don't bring up the Eggman AK from
Boys, I'll
Happy
be
Land
right back.
from
Be right
Cannibal
back.
in Japan. Oh, please, no, no,
Oh
no.
god.
Oh, no, no.
Oh gosh.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Please, anything but that. Look, I know I watched it back in the day when it was funny, but oh, good God. I don't like.
Boys, I'll
I,
be right back.
Where was Sonic in all
I
of
was
this, man?
also hoping that the studio will soon announce that they're going to make the third movie. But ever since the second movie was successful, now they're planning to make the third movie.
Well, that's good. At least the Sonic community have begun a new era where they've kept the memory alive, but introducing it to a new generation, and they've nailed it. As I said, as a new generation should, like the passing of the torch. Well, we're finally like introducing it in a newer way, and it's not like a remake, but it's basically like almost telling you as if Sonic was for real. And besides all that as well, it's the same thing with the redubs. I mean remakes of the Disney films over time. They have their own ways of telling it, and and I know others don't like remakes, but I'm one of those guys who takes it as it is. You know,
Yeah.
um, I'm still yes, T Cash. I know, dude. Sorry,
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh
sorry,
yeah.
I'm laughing.
Kane,
Sorry,
you wouldn't believe what I just found the most luxurious train in Japan.
oh, nice. Basically, the Japanese version of the Orient Express, as they say.
Well, it's basically not that. It's something more luxurious than that one. So,
Oh
but the
God,
reason
yes,
that
T Cash. Like,
the one I found is known as the Twilight Express.
ooh, oh God, no. Anything to do with Twilight, as long as it's not related to the movie, please, for God's sake.
Wait, what?
It's a long story short, babe. T Cash has got that in. Yeah, I get. Yes,
Oh,
I can actually see that. If someone did a YouTube peep on that, I dare someone to do it. I'm
hmm.
calling it right now.
You know, just imagine if the Flying Scotsman would have raced the K-Say Skyliner. I mean, they both have the same top speed of 100 miles an hour.
Yes, but then the Skyliner would definitely outbeat him. More streamlined than Scotty is. In any cases,
Oh, you're just
any
turning on the
cases,
lights?
yeah, it's getting darker now because the lights are up now.
Ugh,
Once again, for
getting too
shade,
dark, huh?
I can still see, but Robert said anyway. But anyways, guys, another thing I want to say, Astro and everybody else, is that one of the things I do remember in 2019, you know,
T-Crash, it doesn't pronounce Twilight Sparkle Express. It just say Twilight Express.
but then again, adding the word Sparkle Express sounds pretty cool. If they had like a glimmer effect at night time, that would look quite nice, like a magical appearance. Uh,
Hmm.
who else? Oh yeah, but when I went to see some more Disney remakes, Aladdin was okay, mainly because of Will Smith. Props to him, man. Did a good job as the genie. And
Scotsman's got bigger drivers without coaches. It
uh,
could
you know
probably
when I was
beat it
thinking
since steam
about
engines give 100% of power at all times. Huh.
Astro, you know what I said about the Disney trio, and wow, they had well, me and my ex-girlfriend had Bambi and Simba together, but the third member, I'm a little embarrassed to say, but I'll say it. He's
Yeah.
basically, oh God, I'm embarrassed to say it, but I'll say it. He's basically the most beloved elephant with big ears who could fly with a magic feather. Dumbo. He was the third member, and I added him in because he's my number
Oh
one.
yeah.
He's my number one, man. And
I
this is
remember
where
I used to watch that movie when I was a kid.
it was my first Disney movie, and I still watch it today. Still, both the remake and the original. I've even got the novel as well. I still collect merchandise to this day about him, because I love elephants. He's the Disney
Yeah,
character I relate to. He's born with big ears, and I'm born with Asperger's, and we're both truly like outcasts. But the difference
I
is,
remember.
it's funny because in my actual series, Dumbo doesn't speak. But here's a clever thing I did. Before the movie or remake movie at the time would start, he would actually communicate before going into the actual, adventure itself.
Ah,
That was
yeah, I
something I
remember
did.
that.
That was it's like when you go behind the scene and then, boom, he goes back and he becomes a silent character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh
what made
yeah.
it go
Big
today.
big
Back to the
question.
crossover
I had a big
era.
okay. Big question. During in the war in the old days, have you heard about this most powerful weapon that the railways used to have? Like
I've heard
the
that.
huge gun that is
Yeah,
so huge it could blow up in one target.
you mean the railgun? Yeah, like the one you saw in Victor Tanzik's.
Yes,
The
that's the
big
one.
gun. Yes, pretty impressive.
They're like the most powerful weapon that any army could ever use.
And I bet you today they could still work.
Hopefully, if we don't know. Like, we also have our own big guns in the United States as well,
Even
but they
bigger.
haven't been used ever since the war ended.
No, at least we've got them on standby. Anyways, besides all that, speaking of which, in my hang on a second. Indeed, yes, T Crash, indeed. Yes, I loved the remake more than anybody else does in Dumbo. You can thank Tim Burton for that. God bless him. Because he brought Batman in my life, and now he brought back Dumbo. He reinvented him. Basically, I loved
Oh,
it because
T Crash
when
just
Casey
mentioned
Jr.
about Casey Jr. He just
Yeah,
mentioned about Casey Jr.
yeah, that's what I mean. When I saw him in the remake, we didn't know what he was going to look like. We saw the props of him, but we didn't know what he was going to look like. Was he? I was very convinced at the time, like they're going to take all the originals, put them in realistic. But I was thinking, what is Casey Jr. going to look like? Because that was the first thing that came to my mind almost immediately. Because with Dumbo, you got trains, and before Thomas even existed, well, actually at the exact same time, Casey Jr. came in just at that moment. But
Ah,
I think it's appropriate that Casey Jr. was the first man to be the first quote unquote trains with faces before Thomas even existed. So maybe he was the origin idea, maybe for trains with faces for Reverend W. Audrey. That's just a theory of mine.
yeah, I
That's
get,
just
I get the point. I get the
because
point.
Disney, I mean, we've all seen it happen before, but that was probably for the Americans, I guess, and Thomas was the first in British, I guess. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who
Have
knows?
you heard about this legend story about Casey Jones?
Yes, that's who Casey Jr. was actually named after. That's his name. That's where he was named after the driver. Bless him.
Yeah, we wish we would give him some good respect because, well, we
Well,
already know that
okay.
he died during his speed through the S curve when it crashed into a freight train.
Yeah, that's why Casey Jr. maybe, I think, from what I recall, was made in Dumbo as a tribute to Casey Jones as a mark of respect, I think that's why, and I like to think it that way, personally. And, yeah, when I saw him in the remake, I'm not going to lie, I really thought they were using a real 440 American at the time. And the timeline was different as well, but funny enough, even after World War One, there was plenty of American 440s still existing at the time, but many of them were gone. They were around for like 50 plus years before the upgrades of new engines came into the mix. But even before then, after that, there was still plenty of them still around. Like some of them were upgraded to coal burning, and others were still wood burners. And as we saw in the
Yeah,
remake,
don't forget about oil burners as well.
oil burners were the future and less costly. But like I said, when it came to the wood burning versions, because they sparked a lot of fire in them, they could still run pretty fast. And I liked how Casey Jr. looked. Even though he was completely CGI, I was so convinced he was real because of the quality of in the movie. And when I saw him coming in, I'm not going to lie to you. Every time I see that intro, hearing that awesome music that they played in the live action of Dumbo, I'm not going to lie to you, lads. It was like seeing Thomas all over again when I first saw it at the age of 1, and I instantly got, like I'm feeling now, goosebumps. I literally thought I was on the train, riding behind in the cab, because that's how awesome it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was,
You wouldn't believe what I just spotted on a diesel engine here in the United States. I just
oh,
spotted the one that has the classic Illinois Central Railroad logo.
superb. Well, I've seen that before, mate, but that's awesome. It's one of the best. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what you mean, T-Crash. Yes.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's the ICRR, short for Illinois Central.
But the thing is, from judging by what Casey Jr. looks like in the the remake, he looked like one of those engines like from the when they built the Transcontinental Railroad, and judging by his number style and everything else, I was thinking to myself, he had to be one of the engines mainly who must have built the whole, back when the Union Pacific and Central America Ring at the time were uniting. So I think he may have been built sometime in that aerospace.
Yeah, well, like back in the 1980s and 90s, that was
Yeah,
basically like the age of the rail merger.
yeah, that's what I mean. So I'm thinking in that version of the remake, I think that's where Casey Jr. may have been a part of. Because after all, he's a wood burner, and he was a wood burner from that time period. So I'm thinking he had to have been in that early stage at the time. And of
Well,
course, he's got
ever since Union Pacific Big Boy number 4014, it was now converted to burn oil now.
As I'd like to appropriately say, the biggest oil burner ever existed.
Mm-hmm. And we all know that the Big Boy is the mightiest, strongest engine of all.
Then again, the only engine I think that can come close to doing it, to mainly be on the same level, is Norfolk and Western 1218's class, because they can pretty do much more than a big boy can do alone. Let alone.
Oh yeah, the Norfolk and Western A class.
Yeah, they may be smaller, but they do know. They do know. You do know that they can be on the same the same power level. Despite they're smaller, they can run even quicker than a big boy. Let alone the biggest of the class, which were the Y6Bs, which were, I think they were the big boys' rival because they were even bigger than the Class A's. So I think if one had to say, which one almost did, we would have seen the biggest rival of the Norfolk and Western and the Union Pacific clash in modern day style had one survived.
Oh yeah, don't forget, Southern Pacific also did the same challenge as well. They have bigger engines just like those.
I've heard they had bigger engines, but I didn't know which ones were the biggest. I know they did the operational cab forwards, and then they did like the reverse versions, which were the AC9s, which were the oddballs of the fleet. They were among the biggest. Even though, yeah, the Y6Bs were stronger, T-Crash. They were much bigger than 1218's class. They were much bigger, had heavier fireboxes, and they could even slug it out on grazed, regardless of how you want it.
I mean, it's kind of too bad that the 1218 was never steamed up again.
Who knows? It might happen. I have look, I know it's kind of almost, well, look at what they've done to Big Boy. It's not impossible. If they can bring the biggest engine in the UP fleet back, obviously they can do the same with the biggest in Norfolk and Western, and then bring back. They did it with 611. They brought her back. She's my favorite NNW loco. Don't ask me why. But
oh yeah,
she's there.
We always liked the 611, the most famous streamlined engine in the world.
Well, if you want to say beauty, I think she's probably the best in NNW. Yeah, the queen of steam of NNW, as I like to say. But if you want my honest opinion, Southern Pacific 4449, aka the Daylight, to me is probably the best one. The best Northern, the best
Yeah, well,
paint
ever
locomotive.
since when dieselization was rising up, basically the railroad had to take down the streamlines on 4449 and the rest of its siblings.
Well, they had to in order to ease maintenance, which is a smart move. We all did that. Even we Brits did it. We did it with Mallard and her class with the A4s. We took the skirting streamlines off and everything else during the war to ease maintenance.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, compared to the other A4s who have been preserved, Mallard's the only one who has the full version streamline. No, the others don't.
Yeah. Well, I did heard back in 1989 that she was brought back to Steam looking very strange without her streamlined design.
That was in 1985. Yes, I know. It was a very strange year, but it was a good time as well for a lot of other reasons. But yeah, she may have
That
looked
was the
strange.
first time. That was like the first time we saw what's inside the streamline of the boiler.
Basically, Mallard is an unmasked streamliner, basically getting to see its face for the first time. But at the same time, but then again, it was a bit unusual, but it looked pretty cool. Basically, almost a topless style head variation of Mallard, which looked okay and very unique. Although today it would be even more stranger. But nowadays,
we all know that Spencer is also an A4 as well.
And it was theoretically said by, and I hate to bring it up, but Mr. Ortez, as myself and others will tell you in the Thomas community, it's been kind of theoretically saying that Spencer could have been one of the prototypes, maybe, or that he's actually Silver Link. Because he's, in a strange theory that I was talking about a long time ago, and I kind of like the idea that he may have been the first one because he's got no name, he's got no number on him. So I'm theoretically, and I like to say that a lot, I think Spencer in fiction may have been the last one built, the last prototype in the CMC. Or maybe he was
prototypes
the first one
are just prototypes.
Yeah, there was only four. There was only about four silver classes built at the time when they were built in the mid 30s or 6. I don't know. Maybe there was 4 of them. I know Silver Link was the first one to do it. There was Silver Fox, Silver Jubilee, and another one else. But yeah, I'm definitely.
King T-Crash just said that the rest of the J class from the NNW also wear no streamlining as well.
It doesn't really matter. A streamlined or an unstreamlined J of NNW, they look good regardless. Okay. That's a good theory, actually, T-Crash. Yeah, that could be a theoretical. That could be another theory. Maybe he was, or maybe that could have been like in the post-Steam era, maybe after the war. Who knows what happened?
Yeah.
Hey, Kyle, I can see him. Yes, I am very aware that you're making a good combat, mate, and it's good to see that you're still here, mate. I appreciate that, pal. Or a new build, yeah. Who knows, T-Crash? Who knows what happened to Spencer?
That is a big mystery.
Like I said, it's a really intriguing idea. People have their own ideas about all this, about Spencer's past, and that's that's why the fandom can have its own creativity on these characters that were, introduced, but we never knew what their pasts were until the whole thing happened lately in the fandom. But any cases, regardless, 4449, the Southern Pacific, in my opinion, is the greatest streamliner, semi-streamliner in the US. And she's my number 1 American logo. And I'm being straight up as a fan, even though 611 shares that spot with her, because they're my 2 Fab Northerns.
If I remember, 4449 used to, she used to double head with 844.
Yes, she did. 2 times they've actually double-headed. The first, and if you remember, I didn't know this until recently. They actually first met in 1976 or 77 when 4449 was in her famous red, white, and blue. That's why I look at her as the greatest American freedom train ever made. And when they double-headed,
A44 used to wear the classic light or dark gray colors.
You mean the Greyhound color?
Yeah.
That to me is my personal favorite version of 84444. I like her in that version because that's how I first saw it. To me, that's the best livery. And that's what she's like in my head canon, just like the fact she's 84444 and not 844
Yeah,
instead.
because that's because one diesel basically took that number from 844.
Yeah, I get the idea. I think it was nice, in my opinion. It's better having 4 numbers than 3, in my opinion. That's just me.
Yeah.
Anyways, besides that, like I said, those two Northerns, 4449 and 84444, or whatever you want to say it, first met in 77 when they first double headed together. That was their first meeting. And then they met a couple of times again. And they had their recent one back in 2007, I think it was, when they last were together. And as we all know, they had their infamous meeting in 1989 when they went to Los Angeles together. That infamous meeting at Mission Tower when they came in together and they ran over the Cajon Pass together. To me, that's everyone to this day, even those who were there, everybody else, even fans who watched it growing up, still will tell you to this day it was the most historic meeting that in America that two engines ever had, and it's still talked about to this day. Like it's a special moment that has never been recaptured since. Okay, T Crash.
I still kind of feel bad that the Santa Fe and Southern Pacific failed to merge that time.
Yeah, we spoke about that one time. I mean, maybe in the fictional universe we can pretend they did, but who knows what would have happened. I could see them doing well, maybe, but at the same time, who knows? I'm just saying it may. But then again, maybe it's a blessing that it didn't happen because, again,
like imagine if that would be like in an alternate timeline. Like if they actually did merge.
What would have happened today? Like what would we see today? Who else would have survived with Southern Pacifics with 44, 49 and 37, 51 and the others, you know? Who else would have joined them? We could have had more survivors. Like, and at the same time, I'm also thinking, I'm glad it didn't happen, but at the same time I wish it did. But what would have happened?
T-Crush to say SPSF 4449.
Oh, good Lord. Yes, I know. T-Crash has a funny sense of humor, man. This is what I like about him. He's really
just imagine if 4449 wears that paint scheme logo.
Who knows? It would be very intriguing. But at the same time, I mean, mergers don't always work out. Like, look at what happened with New York Central and Pennsylvania when they formed the Penn Central. It was terrible, and it wasn't a good. I mean, it was good on paper, but to actually have it done was not good, and the results were terrible. I mean, that's what I think could have happened if Santa Fe and Southern Pacific merged in desperation. They could have had a similar fate to Penn Central. Like I said,
but because basically both of those, like with Southern Pacific and Santa Fe, they have the same size and level of tracks, and they cover the same territories.
That makes perfect sense too. That makes perfect sense. Yes, but at the same time, oh yes, it could happen. Oh yes, 37, 51, and 44, 49. They've never met. But who knows? Maybe they did meet. Maybe during the service. Who knows what could have happened? But that would be a dream doubleheader. Make it. Yes, I would love to see it happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would agree.
For those of you who do know or may not know, ATSF 3751 is actually the oldest Northern in the United States. She's the oldest 484 in existence.
I've seen several videos about that engine.
Yeah, she's probably the most. Yeah, she's probably the only one at NAT still existing, I guess, in terms of ATSF. But from what I do know as well, the best doubleheader I would like to see. Look, that is good on paper, but the biggest one, and I mean the biggest. Like, I know you guys want to hear it. What if 4449 and 611 merged together? Those two big Northerns going together. Think about it. The Queen of Southern Pacific and the Norfolk and Western together. They both have similar.
And what would the name of that company be?
No, not like
That's a
merging. I mean, like why they double head together? Imagine the amount of fans that would love
oh
to turn out. They have similar fan bases.
oh
They're arguably the most loved Northerns, and
T Crash
yeah,
just mentioned about the Frisco 1522.
oh yes, basically the loudest engine in the world because of a stack torque.
Oh yeah, the way how 1522 always starts moving, you can hear the chuffing sound so loudly.
Basically from 10 miles away. But there are videos
That
where
is
I've
like
seen her.
way louder than you think.
Yeah, but she may be the loudest chuffer. But if you want to talk about loud whistles, I think the 1200, like 1218 Huda whistle is much louder. Probably the loudest one of the
Yeah.
bunch. But anyways, yeah, I can see it. That would be awesome.
Oh, what about the Milwaukee Road 261?
Oh my god, recently won me over. I don't. That's another good one, but probably the most underrated Northern ever, but still loved. But that's another engine who 4449 hasn't met yet, I don't think. Those two definitely have a very similar pattern in terms of the
Yeah,
tracer
because well, both of them have the same horns.
similar, but like I said, that would be another dream thing to put together. But put those two together because they've both been taking the higher Waffer rear end coach, that big elevated car at the back. The loudest. Okay. If 1522 did come back, and I think it's possible, there's a chance for it to happen. I think it can happen. It would be so good, and then eventually, yes, to Crash. I'd love them to do 1522, and maybe they could reincarnate her into Clashville 311 for a Halloween stunt thing. Yes, I think it could happen. But then again, she's
Oh
got
yeah,
5.
have you seen the that 4449 used to wear the American Freedom paint scheme?
Yeah, I was already telling you about that. That's how 844 and 4449 first met when she was in her red, white, and blue livery in 1977. That's how they first met. That was the first time they ever
That
went.
was like
The first time they ever
that was
encountered
so
each other.
amazing.
Yeah, I told you. I've just told you,
That
Astro.
was so
That's how they
amazing.
first met. That's how it all started.
Ah yes.
But any cases, like I say, it would be quite nice if they ever did come back together again. Because wherever they go, they're always there for some funny reason. No matter where they go, they always find themselves like in the same place almost.
Exactly, because the company of 4449, they merged with the Union Pacific Corporation.
They did, yeah. But then again, and I always felt like the best rivalry. I know there were others at the time, but the first rivals I knew of were Southern Pacific and Union Pacific, N&W and Fresno and Reading, and But at the time, Southern Pacific
Oh
and Union
yeah,
Pacific were
that
very
that
strong.
reminds me of the Reading Railroad. That reminds me about the Reading Railroad. Have you seen the engine number
Yes.
2102 was restored?
Yes, she was my first Reading loco. I'm glad she's back.
That was so surprising that we found another steam engine steamed up again.
Yeah, all the engines are coming back. Like look at CNO, the 39, whatever her name was, the 2882 other engine is back now, and now 2102
It's like,
2102 is
well,
back.
for what's coming to my mind, it feels like the steam age is slowly coming back to life.
Well, guess what? It is coming back. American Steam has rebounded. We're in a new era. It's just like what we did when we made Tornado in 2008, and we've made some other engines now that are still following. You guys are following us too. And of course, we've brought back we've begun a new era of Steam in the preservation world for a new generation, and now you guys are doing the exact same thing. I'm telling you, you're following in our footsteps again, just like we did many decades ago when we began the Steam revolution. It took a while for you guys to get in with us, but look at us now. We're basically starting
That's
a
what
new
I
era.
was thinking, because I wanted to restore a locomotive from the N&W.
Well, you never know. We could actually be, they could. Well, if you guys are successful in getting this Pennsylvania T1 done, who knows what else you could build next? You could make some more engines. You could rebuild some of those back from the dead. Like, you could be, you like, there have been many attempts to build the New York Central Hudsons. They could make a cut. That, it's true.
Yeah, but it's too bad that none of those Hudsons were preserved.
Not really, no, but it's a good chance we can build a new one now in their memory. Or, I dare say, get a New York Central Niagara. Get those big babies up.
Oh yeah, the Niagaras. Don't forget about
They're
the
the one.
Mohawks.
Yeah, the Mohawks could make a comeback, but the Niagaras from New York Central, yeah. Every time anybody talks about them, everybody just loses their mind. There's something about them that they can't explain, and it just goes like, explosive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Back in the old days of the Chesapeake and Ohio's 210 Ford T1s. Have you heard about those engines?
Yes, I have. The Chesapeake and Ohio's, yeah. Not one of them made it, but they could make a
Well,
comeback.
there's one of them. One of them had a boiler explosion years ago, back in
Yeah.
1943.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah, all those 3 crew members died in the cab of that engine.
It happens, unfortunately.
I was so surprised and shocked during that explosion. The front part of that engine was like it peeled off during that explosion.
Yeah, we've
Like the
seen
entire front and even all the boiler tubes scattered on the front.
I know. It's one of the hardest things ever about when an engine's inside blows. Either ways, if it wasn't for the C&O 210 4s or whatever they were called, let's just say, they were what led to the development during the wartime when Pennsylvania decided to take a spin off from them, and they made the Pennsy J1s.
Oh yeah, basically due to war restrictions, railroads were not allowed to build new locomotives.
No, time consuming, mate. I mean, all of us did that. Same thing in Australia and here in the UK. We couldn't do that. At least you guys in
Yeah,
America,
so
you guys got away with Plan
basically
Z.
what we always do is switch from plan B, borrowing another railroad's locomotive and copy their designs.
But which one? Which is always the hardest thing. And I bet that was it was very tough to think of who to base on because there was just so many engines about.
Oh yeah, have you seen the S160 locomotives?
Yeah, S160s, yeah.
Yeah, they were basically originally from the Alaska Railroad before they were transferred around in the UK.
The Alleghenies were good. We still got a couple of them hanging around. Actually, speaking of which, if there's any other engines that I think could make a comeback, I think the C&O Alleghenies, the 266 ones, I think.
What about the S100 tank engines?
Yeah, maybe they could make a comeback, perhaps, for, I don't know. Listen, the Class A's would have been good. That's why we got the fictional Pennsylvania FG1. God bless you, K&L. I think
someone by the name K&L Train Z wanted to make an alternate timeline if the Pennsy would have chose the Norfolk and Western's A class.
Well, guess what? Here's my theory. Maybe they they should have done both of them. To be honest, here's the reason why. They could still do the J1s. They made 125 of them, and then basically, as I like to say, quote unquote, their trump card as a backup, they could have gone along with the Pennsylvania Railroad FG1 in post-war time. As a trump card, like their last big engine to go out with a bang. That's
sometimes whenever railroads were desperate of needing new locomotives, they wanted to borrow the other railroad's locomotive and rebuild them into something different.
They did, yeah. Like keeping with the railroad tradition, look at the Pennsylvania. They took the same design but just kept their traditional style. And someone actually did that on Trains Forge. They took the daylights and they said in fiction, what if they took the 4449 daylight streamliners and did something with them during wartime? Think about that.
Oh, I would imagine if they would actually wear the Pensy streamlining.
Actually, you can actually find them on Trains Forge.
Hmm.
It would have
Oh
been.
yeah,
It would have been.
have you heard
It would have been
about the Broadway Limited?
Yes, the Broadway Limited. Yeah, that was basically the rival of the New York City's 20th Century Limited.
Yeah, but it's too bad. But ever since Amtrak took over in 1971, unfortunately, they discontinued the Broadway Limited in 1995.
I know. You're
It's
right,
kind
T
of
Crash.
sad, though.
You're right, T Crash. The Pennsylvania didn't do too well with their articulates. No, they weren't very good.
Yeah, I mean, we will never forget the days of the Broadway Limited.
Well, the Broadway Limited was okay, but it was. I don't want to be admitting too much, but it was one of my least favorites at the time. Because at the time growing up, Pennsy at the time didn't look like a good railroad to me. When I was growing up, I'll be admitting it was one of my least favorites. But looking back on the history and the engines that served it, yeah, kind of won me. I understand. They're also, ironically enough, they were actually one of the few railways, despite how long they were, they never took any auxiliary tenders with them, which makes me wonder.
Hmm. It's like, yeah, it's like the same thing when Y6Bs and A class always use the auxiliary water tenders. Same
Wow,
goes for
because of that's because of
same
the
goes
grades they
for
had to go
Southern Pacific, Union Pacific,
because of the
and
long
all other railroads have them.
because of the long distances. They travel long
Yeah,
distances, and if you're going to go out in the open, there's not that many war stuff going about. And mainly the auxiliary tenders were basically used for less frequent stops, mainly. That's what they were doing.
yeah,
But if you want to go with the reason why there are others who went up there, they had like auxiliary tenders, like for the articulators and everything, is because they're crabbing up the grades and they'll use a lot of water and a lot of steam powering. So that was pretty obvious. But like I said before,
yeah.
but like I said, uh, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, before we go back and before I'm going to wrap this one up, we've been on for a long while. The updating was definitely going a lot longer. But I have to admit, it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I will say though, back when I was watching the remakes of the Disney films again, right, I really was a bit unsure, but I liked where they were going. But when Dumbo came out, trust me, this was to me the best remake. Period. I said this in my review, and I'm proud of it. That remake really saved my life for a number of good reasons. It made me happy that sometimes being different can be good, cool in a good way. This was before everything happened, before 2020 dawned and ruined everything for all of us. And
Oh yeah, that is the worst year ever since when COVID started.
basically, it was the worst since I say, look, I know it was bad enough with 9/11, bad enough with the war, bad enough with Nazi Germany and all that bullshit.
Oh,
But
the 9/11
yeah,
event.
this was completely different. But this was completely different. Okay, but but it has come to
I
pass, and
still
we
kind of
are.
feel bad of all the people. I still feel bad for a lot of people that died on those twin towers.
Yeah, look. The good thing is though, the new towers have been rebuilt next to them, and they will never fall. It will never happen again. Look, but let's be
Yeah,
talking about
well,
that in a minute, okay?
for what I've known, for what I've known, the original twin towers, they were first built back in the 1960s through the 70s, 80s, and 90s until now it was destroyed in 2001.
But if that event hadn't happened, it wouldn't have changed. I wouldn't have had my changes in how I, hold my deep respects for America because of that.
Yeah, all
Because
because of those hijackers.
no, because of what happened in America, I would kind of because back when I was growing up, I was very jealous with, our red, white, and blue counterparts. Back then, I was different, but because of all this, it changed my outlook. And when they had in 2002, when they made a new level of patriotism and what was it called, like something with freedom and whatever it was they were doing, you know, about for the nation or whatever it was, like a new era. I kind of liked what they did, and that's what made me, to this day, I feel like I treat the United States equally like we do here in Britain, because they're basically, as I like to say, they're basically Britain's bigger variation, alternative version of the red, white, and blue, because we both have that in our colours. So I look at them as our brothers across the ocean. Basically,
yeah.
yeah, that's basically how I did it because of that event. So I've got nothing against them. Because the Americans love what we do, and we love what they have. Yeah, despite the history we've had, but we've still been united, and in a way we are, because despite what's gone on recently in 2020, despite what happened this month, which ruined everything, I don't want to get into context with Astro. You please understand.
Yeah, I really do. And yes, T-Crash, we all know that Amtrak always kept the railroad safe from getting bankrupt.
Despite Amtrak was good back in there, it was, but that in the modern day time, it's just, I don't know. I just think it's management that's making us hate it, not the road itself, but I think it's management behind it. Like
Yeah,
everybody
well,
hates
because of the old locomotives that they used to have, unfortunately, they can't survive the aging.
Yeah,
Because
who
it would be their
Amtrak
last day.
Another.
It's like the same thing when they were trying to replace the old Acela Express for the second generation of the Avelia Liberty. You there? Okay. Just me now. Okay.
Okay, go. See ya. Anyways, I'll guys, I'm back now. Anyways, what I will say though, when I watched that, let's go back to what I was saying. When I was seeing the remake, right, when Dumbo got re-released, when I was there in the cinema, it was very packed, and a lot of people anticipated.
Like how many are they?
Yeah, I can't tell because I don't count how many seats, but I can tell you the thing was loaded. Many of them were good, mainly adults, and some were kids who didn't know what it was about. They'd read the stories. That's okay, T-Crash. Hey, Scooter Gang. But in many cases, it was a great remake, despite what people thought. I loved it. I saw it like 4 times before it came on DVD, and I loved it. I mean, that remake saved my life, like I said, and I loved it. The reason why is because I was looking forward to the cast that was in it, mainly Michael Keaton, aka Batman himself, and it had Danny DeVito and Colin Farrell, some of these new talents that they had. I loved it. There was plenty of references from the original thrown in there, which was a nice tribute. I like the new timeline because it happened just after World War One again, and quite unique. And I could see the references there were, and there were some really nice shots that were taken in it. And of course, Timothy as a white mouse was beautiful. Instead of him being a brown, fancy mouse or whatever he was like. But that was quite nice. That was quite refreshing. Again, bringing realism to it. And even though Dumbo was played by a human, I have to say though, overall he looked so realistic, and that's why I couldn't stop acting like the way I did. It was just so beautiful. It was like seeing my hero in reality.
Yeah.
Just a shame they did. Even though they did the live actions, they never spoke. I could only imagine like only we in the audience. Like there are some films who make them like the characters can't hear them, but we in the audience can. You know what I'm saying? As if they're talking in their heads or whatever. Only we can hear them, but they can't. That would have been pretty awesome.
Agreed.
That would have been quite unique. I was hoping that would happen, But at the same time, I liked what we got, and I didn't judge it too much. But I have to tell you, I loved Michael Keaton's performance, even though it was a bit strange seeing him as the villain. I just couldn't help but love the character he was playing.
Back in 2006, have you heard that when Disney announced that they finally got the rights of Oswald back?
Yeah.
That was so surprising. I mean, ever since the disaster of back in 1927, when Universal Studios explained the contract of that they actually own the rights of Oswald, but apparently that was a big mistake. It's been like so many years, and now they finally got the rights of Oswald back.
Basically, it took time. Now let's not make that mistake again.
Hopefully not, because that's all in the past. Because mostly the new employees are just new to all the companies.
Who knows if we ever get to 2027? Who knows what we'll celebrate by then? If any of us get there.
Just imagine if they would have made the new shows about Oswald. Just imagine that.
Be quite intriguing. They have potential, maybe. Pay tribute to the original. It'll be a landmark occasion.
Yeah, just imagine that they would have made new shows about him.
Anything could happen. Just depends on who's got the brains and talent to do it. But when I saw Michael Keaton play as V.A. Vanderveer, the so-called bad guy, I was a bit skeptical. But I'm going to admit to you, I was so interested to see what he was going to look like. And I'm not going to lie to you, Astro, and everybody else, if you're watching this. It was the first time I'd seen Michael Keaton since I first saw him playing as Batman in '92, when I was very little growing up. And when I saw him in the tease trailer, let's just say, wow, Keaton had aged phenomenal. Astro, are you still there?
I'm still here. Sorry, because my brother just came in and he was asking me because he wanted me to go with him to the flea market. So sorry for that interruption.
I mean, when I saw the tease trailer in the summer of 2018 when Dumbo first came out of nowhere, which took everyone by storm, right? When I saw that tease trailer, when Michael Keaton was shown, when he did that iconic, when he turned his head and he looks up, which has become iconic in my head now. When I first saw him, I was like, wow, Keaton's aged so well. Like, it was the first time I've seen him since he played Batman in 1992. So I was like, geez, he's aged so phenomenal. And I liked how he looked. To be honest, what was very funny about it, he looked like an aged Bruce Wayne from Dark Knight Returns, And I thought, wow, and I actually joked about saying, like, I was like, holy crap, it's Batman. It was hilarious, and everybody was having fun about that because everyone's a fan of Keaton. I'm not joking. It was like a Batman. I actually nicknamed the live movie of Dumbo basically the gift that Batman gave back to me in return, because of what Tim Burton had done. He brought Batman to the big screen, and now he gave back my favorite Disney character with Michael Keaton involved. So I thought it was like a Batman gift. Very strangely, I don't know why. That's just how I looked at the whole thing at the time, and it was really done, and then when I saw the trailer come out with Keaton talk, when Michael Keaton is the character, when he says the words like, "You have something very rare. You have wonder. You have magic, mystique," and then he says the words like, "Come with me, and together we can soar together on an elephant's wings." And I'm not going to lie to you, even though he was a bad guy, I wasn't too sure how it was going to go. But the words he was saying in the trailer at that point inspired me. It was so exciting. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, go and look for the trailer yourself and you'll understand what I'm saying. And when I actually saw the whole thing, I actually was theoretically thinking Michael Keaton playing as V.A. Vanderveer, even though that's a villainous name. It sounds like a classic Disney character name as well, which kind of worked. But I will admit, it was almost like he was playing the role of, I don't know, kind of like a good guy who was bad, but then might have turned good. because that's what I was expecting him to be. Like, what if he was playing the role of, Timothy Q. Mouth? Like, he would have taught Dumbo what to do, and Danny
Yeah.
DeVito was going to be that guy. But no, it's very different. But I will admit, because that was the idea I thought they were going for. Rather than having a mouse taking Dumbo to new heights, I thought Michael Keaton was going to fill that role. Like, he's a good guy, but he's kind of taking these funny stats, and then all of a sudden he kind of just like, the whole thing between us human beings and elephants, that unique bond. That's what I thought was going to play out. This was what I was, getting hyped for before the movie came out. So I was, because they could have gone with any direction with it, and I would not have been opposed to the remake, regardless of what it was going to look like. But a lot of people were worried it's going to be very, very dark. But Tim Burton, being the clever man that he was, he knew how far he was going to go. It was more colourful than just dark, but I could see what he was doing. It was a lovely balance act. And like I said, when I went to see the remake, everybody was sitting around. It was tense. The atmosphere was just like, it was like Star Wars tense, because they had no idea what they were going to say. Then Casey Jr. steamed into the scene. Like, everybody was going like I am now. They were marking out. They instantly smiled. There was like smiles from ear to ear, and kids were going nuts because they love steam trains. And when Casey Jr.'s theme played in that little bit, there was some singing like up in the front row behind me, because I was sitting in the middle so I could be level with the screen. And singing, and I instantly started like I am now. That I was smiling so happily. I was like, Terry, and I was like very happy. Like, you can see now I'm reenacting what I was like in the movie when I was there. And I instantly just sat back and relaxed it. It was like watching. It was like seeing the original had come to life. That's how good it was.
Oh yeah. Speaking about Casey Jr., before Casey Jones died in 1950s, like in 1957, the studio that's in California made a
They did, yeah. That's true. They did.
Okay, so question: do you recognize the engine from the show?
Vaguely. It's been a long time, but I kind of faintly remember it.
Do you want me to help you to remember?
Just a little. Okay,
so,
Robert.
Okay.
Don't worry about that fanfic.
Okay, so have you heard about the most famous movie star engine that was filmed in Back to the Future 3?
Oh, yes, that one, yes. Safina, I think. Serena, whatever her name was, yeah.
The Sierra Railway number 3. That was the engine that was filmed in the 1957 Casey Jones TV show.
Oh, nice. And if that had been around, you imagine if that had been filmed in a remake.
Oh yeah. So basically, when she first became the movie star engine in 1927, she has been the most populated engines around the whole entire films and TV shows.
Well, of course. She's basically the one to rival Flying Scotsman in a way, who's made a few cameos.
Oh, don't forget about Petticoat Junction back in the 60s.
Yep.
When she used to wear the classic gold, red, and green paint scheme.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that paint scheme of the engine. I like that one.
It was very cool indeed.
Yeah, but unfortunately in today now she had to wear the original black colored paint scheme,
which is what it wore in Return of the Future.
Yeah,
I mean Back to the Future. I meant
Back to the Future when she's dressed as Central 131.
Yeah. Speaking of which, there was just so many good stuff going around.
Oh yeah. Don't forget about the whistle from Back to the Future.
Oh, hell yeah, yeah.
Because it basically sounded so similar, just like in the Polar Express. Because that's where that original whistle came from.
Well, it's been reused so many times. It's that iconic.
Yeah, but
That's what makes
sad,
a
but
fictional train real.
for whatever reason, for many years that whistle have been performing. Unfortunately, in 2018, it was starting to go so old and sound wrong.
But at least it's still with us. Any cases, Astro. The one thing I will say that I thought would happen, I thought they were going to bring in, speaking of trains, I'm just going to throw this one out. There's one thing I do think would have been quite unique in the new remake, in Dumbo when when Via Vanderveer says the words like, where he says like, "Come with me, join me and my family. Let us take us all into the future. Let us take us all to Dreamland." And at the end, I thought to myself, if he's going to say into the future, what type of steam engine of futuristic are we going to have? I did see an art concept once of a streamlined, massive locomotive at the time, because not sure how big engines were going to be by then in 1919. But I had this cool idea in my head. Like in my version, if you ever want to see my fanfic variation, I actually borrowed a Milwaukee Road, the Atlantic 442 A's apparently, which is very futuristic for me because in my version it's like happening in a modern day style, but just after World War II. There's a different timeline there because mine's focusing on the original and then it continues on afterwards. So again, I was going, I was thinking like, because I wanted to use real life steam engines.
Oh yeah, we always know that steam engines are always popular before dieselization took over.
Yeah, listen. In my retelling of the stories of my favorite Disney character, I was using real life historic engines. Like in the first film, like the animation one, there's no Casey Jr. There's basically a Mikado 282 Southern, and basically it's basically like picture the engine portraying it. It was basically 4501, my favorite Mikado Southern ever. Okay.
Oh yes, the Southern Railway engine, of course.
Yes, basically, yeah. Basically, that's the engine in my fanfic playing the fictional circus train, and it's actually, picture in your head, and it's basically 45, basically an engine that looks like 4501, based on the same design. Okay, and then that was.
Don't forget about the 280 630 as well.
You mean the Constellation, like 722? Yeah, it was its sister engine. They were basically the little cousins of 4501. But yeah, they were involved in it though. But I thought 4501 would be nice for the the engine that looks like it, but in a fictional way. And then after that, after the end of it, the story, jumps through the war, and then we get back to 1945. Spoiler alert. We get to see that there's another engine who's took the train because it got blown in a bomb raid. Okay, so Danny DeVito playing as Max Magenti in the remake, as you know, he gets a train and he gets a bigger one. Now this is a bit insane, but he gets a Pennsylvania J class, a 210-4 to take the train. I know, a bit extreme, but yes. And then the train has to be fitted with maintenance. He hasn't got enough money, so they're stranded in Joplin, just like they did in the timeline. And that's where Mr. V.A. Vanderveer as Michael Keaton, he asks the Milwaukee Railroad to help out with Max Magenti's problem. Then he gives him the Atlantics from the Milwaukee Railroad. You get two of them. One to take the train, and the other one's a coal-burning F7 or where it was. The other one to take the train separately, where the other 6 cars, besides the rear one, is removed to take Dumbo's back. Okay, it's a bit strange, but trust me on this one because he's taking them on, and then eventually, I was trying to use real life steam engines again for realistic historical facts. Okay.
What about the switcher engines, like from the 060s and or 040s or 080s?
I can't quite remember. I'll have to reread my fanfics again because there was a couple of engines I did use, and then after that, the rest is history. But like I said, that was just something I wanted to point out in case you were intrigued or reading my DA fanfic on it. But at the end, when we watched the remake, the audiences were just loving it. It was very silent. There wasn't like much talking, but there was some good moments. But when the emotional parts kicked in, and you've seen the remake, haven't you, Astro? You've seen the remake, didn't you?
I think I might have did. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, the remake. When they played the infamous scene that made everybody cry, and I'm not joking, everybody around me in the studio shed a tear, myself included. It's a good job I took some handkerchiefs with me because I was warned to do so. And yeah, and the bit where it's kind of making me want to tear away now. Actually, when in the remake, if you haven't seen it, the bit where Dumbo goes to see his mom before she's taken away.
Oh yeah.
Where his lullaby is being played, as I like to call it. That bit, I'm not lying to you, I absolutely shed tears, man. A grown man, yes.
Oh.
At 29, yes, at the age of 28, man, yeah, that's how old I was. At 28 years of age, a grown man with me shedding a tear, and everybody else around me, I'm not lying to you. Every grown man and woman, even those who had kids with them, they were all weeping, man. And I saw kids hugging their moms and dads. It was so moving. I've never had that before, and everybody else around, it was just incredible. Like Tim Burton knew what he was doing, and then the bit at the end where they had the lovely happy ending, and then shockingly enough, I call it Dumbo's lullaby as a grown man, right? And when that was playing in the credits, I'm not joking. Everybody stood up at the end when it was nearing the end, and they all stood up and applauded. Like there was a massive round of applause going because it was, that deafening. Everyone was just so happy, teary-eyed because you see the return of a Disney legend who saved the animation industry at the time. During the 30s and 40s. And it was just grand. That first time though was the best. I'm not kidding you, Astro. Like everybody stood up. There was a lot of cheering and applauding whenever he was on the screen when Dumbo flew around. It was fantastic. It was like you were flying on him. That's how cool it was.
Yeah. Guess it is.
It's amazing. and after that, it really helped me. It really helped me get my love for Disney in a different way as a grown man. And I said to myself, this is what a remake is supposed to be like. It's how it tells a story. It's not like a remake completely. At least it threw some originals in there, and that's what this movie did.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you remember that that I was explaining to you of my friends and I were having trouble about the Omni Kings?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, let's just say one person known as Omni King Piplup, let's just say he bullies other YouTubers for no reason because whenever he thinks of what they do wrong, he just bullies them and tell them to get off YouTube and take down their channels.
Well, we've seen this happen with many other guys do this, and it's just because they're basically those users who are jealous people who have nothing good to do but to just take the mickey and just be stupid coward guys behind a screen because
and also for another person named Omni King Braden, let's just say he basically stole a mashup from one of my friends known as Dogs Eating Dog 6. Basically, he took the mashup, and Dogs Eating Dog 6 was so upset that Braden stole his mashup without asking permission.
I've had it done to me a few times, but I can tell there were some who were innocent, and I always just say, if you want to use my content, just ask me.
Exactly, but for whatever reason, Braden doesn't care. He doesn't care about asking other YouTubers to borrow with him.
But there are some who I've said, next time please ask me, and then there were some who were openly apologetic, and that's it, problem solved.
But for whatever reason, some of my friends and I agreed that we can't accept his apology. He refused to do that.
That's because he's an actual guy who just wishes he had something and he's just a coward stealer. Everybody's done it to me too. I can understand some inspire me and some forget to ask me, which is actually okay. Regardless, even if they credit me, they still could have asked me, but at least it helps.
Yeah. But for Braden, he still doesn't care.
Well, they should change the rules now. Like, if they watch what they're doing, they should literally tell them this is wrong, this and that. Otherwise,
Yeah. When also my friends and I, we made an agreement that me and my friends were being called as the freedom fighters.
God, that name is still being used this very day. I've seen people back in the day take the Mickey, and I don't know why. I remember one friend of mine who was a bit of a space geek nerd or whatever it was with the fanfic fighters and everything like Star Wars and Star Trek and other space adventures. And he did one of himself, and they were basically called the Freedom Fighters of Britain or America or whatever the heck it was calling it. And I was kind of back then thinking that the name Freedom Fighters was just hilarious. I don't know why. I'm thinking to myself, and that this is something funny I've never told anybody, but I thought to myself, what on earth what is the point of being of freedom and you're a fighter? Like, I always thought fighting's wrong, and what's the point in freedom for that? Like, back then I didn't understand what freedom fighting was about, but I just felt at the time, back in those days, something kind of felt a little bit wrong. I was like, what? Like, back then I didn't quite get the whole name thing. Okay.
Yeah. The reason why my friends and I are being called the freedom fighters is just that we were trying to put an end to those Omni Kings for hurting any other YouTubers' feelings, stealing, and all of that kind of stuff. We're trying to fight back against them to help other YouTubers for support. We're trying everything we can to help them out.
Like I said, there are some who don't understand. Like I said, what do you think? I lost a couple of my friends. I remember once who had done to them, and they took the low road and never came back to life. Meaning they terminated their channel and they ended up taking their own lives, which is something I don't want to get into.
Yeah. Well, if only we had more supporters around in our channels, because we are struggling to beat down the Omni Kings. We are we were desperate of needing some help. We just needed some support, so that way we can have all the help we can get.
Anyways, I'm sorry to hear about that, Astro. But in any case, there's a lot of good things that I'm hoping we can see happening when we make it into the future. Like I said, there's a lot of changes going on, as I said before in the beginning. Like, the Thomas fandom is on a rebound. I'm liking where it's going so far. Let's just keep it going. But the fun days back in the day when I knew it was when it was at its peak. It was a lot better. But now they're just members who are fans like me, and there are those who want to be, but they can't find their place. And then there are those who just pretend to be fans and they just screw it all up, and then they go on the attack, so to speak.
Yeah. And first off, my friend named DogCityDog6, he felt very badly for being rude to him from the beginning. He thought of giving him a second chance, but guess what? Brayden blew it. He lost his second chance, and forget about it. He is still as the same person that we don't like about.
Basically, that's a similar thing that I've had to endure. I remember blowing chances after chances unintentionally, and even now I'm still getting this and that still, but I'm a changed person, because of all the shit I've had to go through, enduring.
The same, yeah. I understand the feeling, because that felt the same way for Alex as well.
No, I meant I've undergone a strong rebound to the point where I'm trying to prove that I can change, where I had it slapped back at me and people just think you're an unchanged person, you're always bad. But I can't help it the way I am at times. Like, if I'm too good too good and nicey and everything else, I can get advantage of and exploited. I don't talk about this really live, guys, but that's something you need to know. That's why I have to be a bit lean and mean at times, to protect my image. Like, don't take me for granted too much. Like, I'm good and everything, yes, but there is a side of me that people don't want to see, which people say is the real me. But at the same time, it's me protecting my gimmick, who I am. Like,
Yeah, I understand.
especially
And also,
the way how
my channel
is
my channel is still stuck with only 21 subscribers. I'm still stuck on that.
Listen, Astro, eventually you will find your fan base. I was the exact same way I was 15 years ago. I was that way too. But eventually, over time, it grew and grew. Back in the day when it was a much better time. If you were in my time, back Astro, if you went back with me when I started using it, you definitely would have felt a lot better and safer.
Yeah, I understand the feeling. Oh yeah, good. I wanted to give you this surprise. I just heard something from Multiverse Sonic.
Okay. What did he say?
Guess what? He just became a father.
Mm.
That's right.
Holy shit! I tell you, wow, he actually became a father.
That's right. He did because
When just
their
how long ago?
child, the child that they have now is a boy, and his name is Dodger. And his wife, she goes by the name Brandy because she's a Lincoln. Because for her, she could turn into a wolf in her wolf form, and she would go into her normal form.
Well, congrats on that. So, like, when did this happen?
3 weeks ago.
Wow. And I thought for a split second it was happened in May, or like on the May 4th, like on Star Wars. Like, holy Christ!
Exactly.
Right.
We would have to congratulate them.
That's really awesome, mate. Congrats, dude. If you're hearing this live, mate, this is a big thanks to you guys. Congrats, mate. Of having you.
Congratulations, Multiverse Sonic.
So I guess, in a way, I'll just do this quick, mate. Here's to you guys.
I'm very proud of them. I mean, if I was welcome into their channel, I would be be honored to join them to do like a VR chat and stuff.
Well, if they use StreamYard like this or whatever for their challenge, then there's a good chance that could happen. Like, do it that way. That could work. That's the only way we're going to get to them. Besides all that, guys, like I said, there's so many cool things happening about, and I'm really happy with what things are going. Except we're in the month of May, and well, as you know, it's a bittersweet month. I mean, May the 4th is tremendous. And we've got the 77th anniversary of Thomas and Friends to celebrate, to just see how it goes out, because last year was a bit of a quiet one, apparently, because we were still recovering from 2020, which was at the time. But this is also the month where oh boy, it's too intense for me to say. But I think you might have a good idea, Astro, because if I explain to you elsewhere, if I explained to you elsewhere about it, you probably would understand, but it might change your outlook a bit differently on me.
I see.
Yeah. Because it's sort of the month that shattered my trust in humanity for good, differently, in other places. But anyways, guys, it's been a fantastic update stream. It's been a bit longer than I expected it was going to be, but I appreciate it. And thanks for coming up again, Astro. It's really been it was changing from another update. Then we spoke about trains, Disney remake, Sonic, and then this. So we've had a bit of a wild one.
Yeah, it's no problem, dude. Just glad to be here.
Oh yes, if anybody else would love to have come in, you could, yeah. But we're going to wrap this one up, and I don't know when I'll come back again, but I will let you guys know at some point.
All right, and you're still gonna do the favor for me, right? Like I said last time that you would share the video message for Daniel Wells.
I was going to try to, but Daniel Wells is very hard to reach, unfortunately, Astro. I will try and do it, but like I said, he's one of those guys that that he's
Yeah.
very he's got such a he's doing a lot of stuff on his mind at the moment, so I don't want to bother him too much, but I will try my best. I will let him know when I can
Thank-
because I've got my hands filled with a lot of things, like I said, as well. I'll try my best. Even if I can't, I'll still give it a try. But anyways,
Thank you,
lads, I'll try my best. I mean, even if I'm not able to, I'll still try.
All right. Thanks for that, bud. You're the best.
Anyways, I will. Thanks, Astro. I will try my best. But anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up now and see where we go from there. So thanks for coming up, Astro, and thanks for you guys for tuning in. And whenever I come back, we'll see what happens. Maybe it may not be for the rest of the year, or who knows what will happen. But take good care, lads. And this is Fan 701. Smooth running and dry rails, everybody, and steam on proudly. And just want a quick shout out to send our regards and love and care for all our Ukrainian friends over there right now, and hopefully they'll survive. And for the rest of the nation of England as well, and for the United States, and everything else in this world that we can recover from and bounce back strong. Fight for what you believe in, and keep a short arm of faith, and of course be there to care for each other, regardless of what nationality, regardless of what race we are, and regardless of who we are as people, if you can call us that. And no matter what happens, we'll continue on to live a great life as we can right to the very end.
Yeah.
2022 may have been a bit of a terrible time because of the battle of Ukraine and Russia right now. But with other stuff that's going around, things look pretty good, and hopefully we can get back to normality by 2023 next year. But at the same time, we can't predict the future. We just got to continue to take life as it comes at us, just one day at a time.
Exactly.
So anyways, lads, take care, everybody, and see you next time when I do return.
Bye, everyone.
See you later, everybody.